this is Flip the Page and my name is Valerie. Now, before I get into the business proper for today, let me remind you that you can subscribe to this channel and you can also click on the notification button just so that you don't miss any of the fun that we're having here. Okay, so today I'm starting what I'd like to call the Alice in Wonderland series. Now, what that means is that I'm going to be reading to children and teenagers Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Now, remember that I said if you don't have access to hard copies of books, you can get fantastic books on some websites. You can also download some apps and install them on your device, and they'll give you access to hundreds and hundreds of books. I'm actually going to be reading from one of these apps. It's called Free Books. So let's get to it. Let's read Alice in Wonderland. Now, it might take us a while to finish the entire series, but we'll get there. Okay, so Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Okay, the very first chapter is titled Down the Rabbit Hole. So she was considering in her own mind. She here refers to Alice. She was considering in her own mind as well as she could, for the day made her feel very sleepy and stupid. Whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it so very much out of the way to hear the rabbit say to itself, oh dear, I shall be too late." But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat pocket and looked at it and then hurried on, Alice started to her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it. Burning with curiosity, she ran across the field after it and was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the hedge. In another moment, down went Alice after it. The rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel for some way and then dipped suddenly down. So suddenly that Alice had not a moment to think about stopping herself before she found herself falling down what seemed to be a very deep well. Either the well was very deep or she fell very slowly, but she had plenty of time as she went down to look about her. First, she tried to make out what she was coming to, but it was too dark to see anything. Then she looked at the sides of the well and noticed that they were filled with cupboards and bookshelves. Here and there she saw maps and pictures hung upon pegs. She took down a jar from one of the shelves as she passed. It was labeled orange marmalade. Yummy. But to her great disappointment, it was empty. She did not like to drop the jar, so she managed to put it into one of the cupboards as she fell past it. Down, down, down. Would the fall never come to an end? There was nothing else to do, so Alice soon began talking to herself. Dinah will miss me very much tonight, I should think. Dinah was the cat. I hope they'll remember her saucer of milk at tea time. Dinah, my dear, I wish you were down here with me. Alice felt that she was dozing off when suddenly, thump, thump, down she came upon a heap of sticks and dry leaves, and the fall was over. I bet at this point she was thinking, thankfully. Alice was not a bit hurt, and she jumped up in a moment. She looked up, but it was all dark overhead. Before her was another long passage, and the white rabbit was still in sight, hurrying down it. There was not a moment to be lost. Away went Alice like the wind, and was just in time to hear it say as it turned the corner, "Oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it's getting." She was close behind it when she turned the corner, but the rabbit was no longer to be seen. She found herself in a long, low hall, which was lit up by a row of lamps hanging from the roof. There were doors all round the hall, but they were all locked. And when Alice had been all the way down one side and up the other, trying every door, she walked sadly down the middle, wondering how she was ever going to get out again. At this point, I bet she was feeling very trapped. Suddenly, she came upon a little table, all made of solid glass. There was nothing on it but a tiny golden key. And Alice's first idea was that this might belong to one of the doors of the hall. But alas, either the locks were too large or the key was too small. But at any rate, it would not open any of them. However, on the second time round, she came upon a low curtain she had not noticed before, and behind it was a little door about 15 inches high, so maybe about this high. Okay, she tried the golden key in the lock, and to her great delight, it fitted. Alice opened the door and found that it led into a small passage not much larger than a rat hole. She knelt down and looked along the passage into the loveliest garden you ever saw. How she longed to get out of that dark hall and wander about among those beds of bright flowers and those cool fountains. But she could not even get her head through the doorway. "Oh," said Alice, "how I wish I could shut up like a telescope. I think I could if I only knew how to begin." Alice went back to the table, half hoping she might find another key on it, or at any rate, a book of rules for shutting people up like telescopes. Well, we have to stop here because we've run out of time, unfortunately. But I'll be continuing with Alice in Wonderland when we come back again on Flip the Page. So please join me. I'll see you then. Bye.